Alright, good afternoon everybody. Welcome to Tales at 2. My name is Rachel once again, and thank you for joining us. Today we are continuing our survival theme. We're going to be playing with fire today, folks. What I'm going to do is show you a couple different ways that are, that you can help, you can actually create a fire if you were in a survival situation. Now, a fire is not necessarily a necessity for humans. We don't need fire to survive. What we do need is warmth. We will need shelter. So fire is a tool for something like that. Okay? So as we wait for people to come in, just know that we are going to be playing with fire today. So if you have little ones that are apt to follow along, make sure they're guided by adults, please. Do not try this at home unless you are guided by parents, okay? And as always, if you have any questions along the way, please put them in the comments. Our wonderful videographer, Danielle, will be reading them off to me as we go. So put your questions in the comments and we'll go from there. All right? So we're going to talk fire. Now, fire, like I said, fire is a tool. You can use fire for keeping warm. You can use fire for cooking food. You can use fire for boiling water, like I said yesterday, and Miss Erin started on Monday. You can use fire to protect yourself. You can actually use fire to keep away animals. Keep yourself safe if you happen to be out in the woods at night. Do you have questions already? No? Okay.
Nothing yet.
So, fire is a really important tool. And knowing how to make one and having the tools prepared to help you make one is going to be really, really helpful if you do find yourself in a survival situation. It'll up your chances of surviving. So what I have here, I have a couple different tools that I have, okay? And we are doing this on our fire pit, so if we lose you, we're a little bit far away from the Wi-Fi, so hopefully we won't lose people today. Fingers crossed. And there are a bunch of squirrels around right now, just kind of like doing their own thing, so you might hear the chattering or running through the trees. That's it. Okay? Okay, so anyway, I do have a couple tools here. So these two are really cool strikers, okay, for when you are ready to start a fire, okay? This is a magnesium striker, so you will actually shave off pieces of a magnesium bar here. Magnesium has a very, very high temperature, high firing point, so it will ignite a lot of things, okay? Now the other cool thing that I have here, these are great if you just put them in your pocket. You can attach the one to your keychain and just go from there. This one, this is a homemade one that I made a couple years ago. It is literally, this is part of a matchbook, okay, part of a matchbox, taped to the outside of a medicine bottle, and inside I have a couple things to help start fire. So I do have some matches, because matches are the easiest way to start a fire, guys. Use a match if you can, okay. I do have some cotton balls. Cotton balls are great to try and start a fire with, because these are very light, they're very fluffy, they have a, I don't know if they have a low catch point, but once you peel them apart, you can see the individual fibers, and they catch really, really easily. You see all that fluff that's there. Okay, so we'll be playing with that. Now, these catch easily, but they also burn up really, really fast. So you don't really have a lot of time to add more fuel to your fire. So, the other thing that I have in here is actually just chapstick. Now this chapstick has wax in it, and I think this is a natural one, so it probably, isopropyl, vegetable oil, beeswax, things like that. So the stuff that's in a lot of lip balms and chapsticks is actually really, really flammable, but it takes a bit to get started. So this isn't going to catch on its own, and this isn't going to burn very long. But if we put them together, then we have something that'll catch quickly and burn for a while, long enough for us to start adding other things to it. Okay? Now the other things that you would want to add to your fire. I will be coming back to this, don't worry. I haven't forgotten. Okay? When you are building your fire, you're going to need a couple different things. Generally, when we're talking about building a fire, we're talking about the different kinds of fuel. There's tinder, kindling, and fuel. Okay? So in this case, the tinder, wait, do I have it wrong? I might have it wrong. Oh, I don't remember which is the smallest. Ah, the pressure. Anyway, in this case, the smallest stuff that we have, and I'm going to have to look this up, whether it's tinder or kindling. Oh, I should be ashamed. I am so ashamed. So in this case, in the New Jersey Pine Barrens, okay, we have lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of pine needles. Okay, pine needles are very, very flammable. Okay, they will burn so easily, which is why forest fires are a huge problem here in southern New Jersey. Okay, the Pine Barrens burn the drop of a hat. Okay, so this stuff is really, really great to start a fire with. If you are doing this at home, be very, very careful. Make sure you put your fire out later, because we don't want anything to spread out into the Pine Barrens. We don't want to burn down our forest this summer. Okay, let's not. Okay. So that's the smallest stuff. Generally, the smallest stuff you want to use is smaller than a matchstick. So the size of the matchstick I just showed you, and smaller. The tinier, the thinner, the better to actually start your fire with. Okay? Then you can get bigger, up to between a matchstick size and the size of a pencil or so. You can get to the bigger stuff, and this bigger stuff is going to help fuel your fire. Okay? So you're going to need to put some bigger stuff on top of, I'm going to start putting this in, start building this. Okay? Leaves, you generally don't want leaves. And ew, this is gross. I missed that one. Don't worry, I'm going to throw it out later. Okay. You want to start with the smallest first. Okay. And then you would put on some bigger stuff once that starts to light. Okay. Because you are going to need bigger stuff in order to keep your fire going. If you continually feed your fire little tiny things, you're just going to be sitting there for a long time.
We just looked it up. It's tinder.
Tinder is the tiniest?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. I thought that's what it was, but I wanted to be sure. Okay. So the tinder is the tiniest stuff, which makes sense. Tinder is tiny. Okay. So tinder is the tiny little stuff. Kindling is going to be the next size up. Okay. So kindling is going to be that about up to pencil size. Okay. So maybe about that big. Okay. Anything bigger than that, then you're getting into fuel. Okay, so that's going to be the stuff that you're going to use to continue your fire through the night. Okay, so it can be smaller, like pencil or finger width or so, or even bigger up to logs. Okay, usually you would want branches or logs or something like that, but that stuff isn't going to catch unless you have a decent fire going to begin with. Okay, so we have the beginnings of our fire here. Now I'm sure that you have seen people do it where you can rub sticks together. I've never done that. I can't do that. I'm going to use tools. I am human. I am a tool using animal. I am going to use tools that I would carry with me on a hike. And I actually did grab these out of my backpack, so I do carry them. Okay? So let's try. This whole kit is something that you can very, very easily pack up. You can make one. Like I said, I just duct taped the piece of the striker to it there. Okay. This is something very easy that you can make. It's mostly waterproof. If you really want it to be waterproof, put the striker inside so that you can pull it out when you need to. But having a waterproof source of fluff like this, of tinder, is going to really help you in a survival situation. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread it out a little bit, and I'm going to take my chapstick. I did use it. There's a little bit of fluff in it. And just kind of like rub a chunk onto it. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect, because once it catches, it's going to stay there and it's going to light. Okay, you see how messy that is? That's okay. That is okay. Slightly strawberry scented. Okay, so I'm gonna put this to the side of it for right now. And you know what? I'm not gonna use the match first, because we know how a match works, right? Match is cheating. Though, again, if you're in a survival situation, I mentioned this the other day, be lazy if you can, okay? But I'm gonna show you the cool one first, okay? So this one, this is a really neat striker, okay? And I want you to watch really, really carefully, because what I'm gonna do is just rub this along and you're gonna see sparks come off of it. See that? So those sparks are actually little pieces of metal coming off of this rod, okay? And I believe this is also a magnesium striker. So what that's gonna do, those little pieces are getting heated by the metal here, by the steel here, okay? And they're flying off. Now, hopefully, it's gonna fly off right into this. So we'll see how this goes, guys. And you see how fast that's going? It's even catching the other tinder, but do you see how fast, whoops. See how fast those pine needles are going now? And this is where you would need to add the rest of your fuel as it burns down, because those pine needles are not gonna last very long, guys. That's just how it works. They start up really, really hot, but it does not, they don't stay long. So you need to have other stuff ready when you're gonna be building a fire like this, okay? Now I don't want a whole fire here, so this is just gonna burn down. And I do wanna show you the other magnesium striker that I have, just for fun. And actually, let me separate this, because I've had better luck when it's separated. Okay, so with this one, you actually have a serrated edge here. Oops. Oh, that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be hot. I have a serrated edge here where it's a little sharp, and then a not serrated edge over here. So in this one, the serrated edge is actually for filing pieces off of this. Okay, you're actually filing shavings off of the magnesium bar here. And then you're gonna run it down. Wait, maybe it's running down this way. Maybe it's not there. I forget how this one works. You run it down and that's gonna light, okay? So, it will. I have a beautiful little fire going here. Let's try and put it out. Well, that didn't work. Fire needs oxygen to survive. So one of the easiest ways to put it out is not really to blow on it. That doesn't generally work. Generally, that's just going to give you a face full of soot, a face full of flame, a face full of smoke. Generally a bad idea. Generally, what you want to do is just cover it. Okay? Cover it with stuff that will not burn. You want to smother it. Okay? So now that's out. Okay. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I would need fuel for that one too. So I would need another cotton ball.
Hunter says use water or sand.
Yes, you can definitely use water or sand to put them out. The sand will suffocate it. The water will cool it down. Okay. If I put that there, that might actually just light on its own since everything else is so hot. Okay, let's see. Hot. There we go. Okay. And since I'm not putting any other fuel on it, all that does is just burn right up. Okay? And now my cotton ball is no more. So, like I said, these are just a couple of different tools that you can use. You can definitely just use a match, and like I said, this is a very, very easy thing to make and put in your backpack for emergencies, okay? For something that you might never think could happen. Okay? Having a fire can be dangerous, like I said. If you're not careful with it, you can hurt yourself. Now, if you hurt yourself in a survival situation, that can be more dangerous. So you do need to be very, very careful when using fire. You do need to be very careful when collecting wood. Okay? You just always want to use dry wood if you can. Keep your fire contained. So you want to put it, maybe line it with rocks if you can, or dig a small pit. Definitely pull out all of this kind of debris and stuff, like move it out of the way so it doesn't keep growing. Okay? And you definitely just want to put safety first with it. If you don't think you can be safe with a fire, it's probably best not to use it. Okay? We don't want you to get hurt out in the wild if that's going to cause more problems. Okay? Now, speaking of getting hurt out in the wild, tomorrow we're doing first aid. So we're going to show you some very, very basic first aid survival situations where you might be alone or something happens and you need something to help you out. Okay? Very, very basic. This is not a first aid course, guys. All of this stuff is for fun. All right? So, are there any questions so far?
Give it a minute.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I'll try and put my striker back together. These ball chains, I don't like them. I don't work with them very well. Okay. Well, once again, our nature center is still closed, unfortunately. Our wildlife housing area and our trails are still open. And if you would like to come and visit, we would welcome you with open arms. Please wear your masks if you can, and practice social distancing, all that fun stuff when you come. We're still bound by that. And as always, thank you so much for your donations. Like I said, we are pretty much running mostly on donations right now, so anything you guys can give really, really helps us out and keeps us going. So once again, it's baby season. Danielle, do you know what kinds of animals we have over there right now?
Right now it's opossums.
Oh,
mostly.
opossums. It's
and
possum
we're
city.
starting to get groundhogs as well.
Oh, and the groundhogs.
And raccoons.
Oh, it's been raccoon season, yes. So there's a
Fawns are also starting.
Oh, the fawns. Yeah. Be careful with those fawns. If you happen to see a fawn in your yard, give us a call first, please. Don't just take the fawn and bring it to us. Please call us first. All right? So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. We will get back to you as we can. If you're watching this later on YouTube, again, put your comments or your questions in the comments below. We'll get back to them. And thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye.